Wesley Lawton. I'm the therapist at Growing Forward Counseling based in Mount Clemens, Michigan. I also see clients all across the state of Michigan via telehealth, and I specialize in trauma and grief. I help people with a number of other mental health challenges as well. And today I want to talk to you about priorities, about decisions, how we conduct ourselves in our daily lives. And specifically, I want to talk about this idea of importance versus urgency. I found this concept to be really helpful in my personal life. I've shared it with some clients who found it to be helpful, and I want to share it with you today as well. So, I want to talk about our moment to moment priorities. What do I do right now? Like, what's on my task list for today? Or, okay, I just woke up and got my breakfast and got dressed. And what's going to be kind of on the agenda for today, uh, in so much as I have control over my life and my decisions, right? We have certain things that, well, I guess we're going to get into that, certain things that quote unquote have to get done. But I find it helpful to operate under the assumption that we don't have to do anything, that we are not forced to do anything necessarily. I mean, there's probably a very small percentage of people watching this video who might actually be forced to do something like under threat of pain or death or something like that. But short of that, for the vast majority of us, we are not actually forced to do it. We are choosing to do it. We might feel like it's the only reasonable option, but it's still our choice. We could choose to not do these things. I feel like that's a whole topic for a different video, but uh, I just want to talk about the choices that we make, whatever that means to you today watching this video. And I also want to talk about not just those moment to moment choices day to day, but also our kind of overall general direction of our life, our overarching choices, our big life goals. And keeping in mind that goals don't necessarily mean the same thing as achievements. Sometimes a goal is more of a process or more of a state of being. I want to have inner peace. I want to be a good father. I want to be a frequent traveler or a lifelong learner. These kinds of things can also be goals, even though we won't necessarily have achieved those. Yeah, something I say snack before making this video. We don't necessarily, uh, you know when we're done with that because it's just something that we do for the rest of our life. Okay, so I find it helpful to ask this question of what's the next right thing? And this question can apply in my life today, and it can also apply in kind of what is the next step for me as a person, as a worker, in my career, as a family member or a friend or whatever, personal growth. What is the next right thing? Where's the place that I'm headed to? Uh, I just find that to be a very specific and helpful question. And I think the reason that I find it helpful is because it's so easy to get bogged down by all of the unknown and the fact that we don't necessarily know where our lives are headed or where this thing I'm dealing with right now is going, how it's going to work out. And I find that question of what is the next right thing to be very grounding and um, very useful. Like, okay, I can't see the whole path ahead. I can't see even the destination, but um, I can see the next step. And so that's a question that I can be asking in my daily life. Sometimes the thing that you should focus on right now is not necessarily what's the most important to you. It's just the most urgent. So I don't remember, I wish I remembered where I came across this idea of importance versus urgency. But I think that I've witnessed that a lot of times we use that word important or importance to describe things that are actually not necessarily super important to us. They're just really urgent. There's something that needs to be taken care of right now. And that to me is what urgency is. It has to do with time sensitivity. It's something that if I don't address this right now, the consequences will be very significant. And this might not be the most important thing in my life, but it's something that I need to act on now. Super easy example would be dinner is done in the oven. Now, is today's dinner the most important thing to me? Well, no, but if I don't get dinner out of the oven, then I'm going to have a problem on my hands. And I might have to set aside something that's more important to me, like spending time with kids or reading about a really topic that has to do with my personal growth or something super interesting to me, I might have to set that thing aside to address dinner in the oven, even though dinner's not quite as important. It's more urgent. So that's a really easy example to look at. But the implications of that can be pretty significant for some people. Uh, the reality is that sometimes the things that are the most important can wait. And again, I feel like I'm kind of stating the obvious here, but if you think about the implications of this, they're pretty big. Like, sometimes it's a relief that the most important things can wait. Those things, um, we have to have things in our lives that we're working on that can be set aside, because other things, it's like, okay, this is happening and I need to deal with it now. The person ahead of me is slamming on their brakes. I have to be able to stop talking to this person that I love and focus on not crashing. Okay. Again, I don't want to belabor these really obvious points, but it's really a good thing that we can set these things aside. It's really helpful. But sometimes that's the challenge, is these most important things can wait. They can be set aside. Sometimes it's not the most super urgent things like a fire in our oven or somebody slamming on the brakes ahead of us, but sometimes it's like this big project at work or whatever that uh, I really need to dedicate a lot of energy and focus to, and there's this relationship that I'm trying to grow in my life or invest in, and I really am having a hard time making time for that right now. And so that's going to have to wait, because I want to be successful in my job, and that looks like a project and doing excellent work with it. And so sometimes that can manifest as a challenge in our lives, but I'll get there in a second. The first thing, though, is about how those important things can be set aside, and that can be a good thing. That means that we don't have to feel guilty about telling the important things in our lives to just hang in there sometimes, or even to just hang in there most of the time, at least in some seasons of life. Sometimes we spend years or entire chapters of our lives just keeping our heads above water, dealing with those urgent things. We all have been there or know somebody who's been there, where it's like there's just thing after thing piling up, or there's this major crisis or whatever that the ripple effects go out for months or for years. And really all you can do is just make it through the day and try to manage this thing or these things. You don't really have time to ask questions about purpose and big life goals. Where am I headed? Am I growing and thriving in the ways that I want to? I just don't have time for that. It's just the reality of life for so many of us. And that's okay. It's just for a season. We don't want to live our whole life in that state if at all possible. I'm guessing that for most of us, we have enough say in our lives to be able to say that at least for the rest of my life, I can expect that there will be some seasons where I'm just keeping my head above water, and other seasons where I have freedom to make a little bit more choices in life. Choose yes and no or this and that. And so I just want to acknowledge that's okay. We can remind ourselves that, you know what, this is a season where, yes, this thing is important for me. That importance is not uh, taken away from at all, but I need to put it on the back burner. And I have a time frame in mind for when I expect or hope that I'm going to be able to return to this super important thing. And it might be years from now. It might be something that I do when my kids leave the nest. It might be something that I do in retirement. Now, of course, we're not guaranteed tomorrow, and so we have to take that into consideration too. But we also can't live our lives as if it's our last day. As nice of an idea as that is, we as human beings have to make some plans for the future to some degree. And it's like, okay, there's this really important thing. Can't get to today. Hope to get to it in the future. Like so many things, our choices, or I should say, having a successful life, success means different things to different people, but a life that we are content with, that we're proud of, that I guess to me is kind of the broadest definition of success. It comes down to largely intentionality in our choices. Sometimes importance and urgency aligns. Sometimes it's the thing that matters most to me needs attention immediately, and that makes the next right step very clear. But often we need to really choose one or the other between what is important and what is urgent. So I have a couple of disciplines. I like that word discipline because it's something, it makes me think of the this is something that I'm trying to grow and foster in my life over time, something that's going to practice. And so there are two disciplines that I want to share with you to consider. It's just something that you can kind of be working on, keeping at the front of your mind as you go about your normal life. So one discipline is to make these choices, to recognize when you're making choices and then to make them, and then to commit to those choices that you make, and not spend your life agonizing over how much you wish uh, you sorry, how much we wish we could spend all of our time on the things we truly care about very most. That wording was a little awkward for me for some reason. I got my notes in front, but basically, you know what I'm saying, that sometimes we make choices and then we think about how the grass is always green. We think about what would have happened if I had actually gone and done that thing that presented itself as more urgent, but instead I did the thing that I care about more, or the opposite. What would have happened if I had pursued and given time for that thing that is important to me, instead of addressing this thing that is like really urgent, or else the consequences would be really dire and severe. Uh, make your choices and then stick to them. And don't look back or wonder what if any more than you need to. It's not realistic to spend all of our time and energy on the things that are actually truly most important to us. We need to give ourselves grace by remembering the whole context, the whole picture surrounding our choices. I work with many people, and especially in the grief and no longer having this in-person uh, relationship with a living person they love, care about, or was important in their life, and they wish that they had dedicated more time to them. These are very normal, I would argue, healthy parts of the grief process, and reflecting on those relationships that are now gone or at least drastically changed. And a lot of times in those situations, especially when guilt is involved, it gives us tunnel vision. We just focus on things we wish would have been different, or things that could have been better, not taking into account the whole big whole context of, well, you uh, didn't spend all of your time with this person because you had other people in your family, or you had a job because you had to pay the bills, and you had to tend to those things. You couldn't really be with this person all the time. And that's obvious, but you're not acting like it's obvious. You're acting like you could have and should have actually literally been with this person all the time. Again, these things seem obvious as I say them out loud, maybe right now, but I hope you can look at your life or the lives of people and see that sometimes when we're in those situations, it's not always us. So take that whole picture in mind. I like this phrase, be fair to yourself. I don't think, realistic to never judge ourselves, to never reflect on our lives, and decide whether our decisions are good or if we would do them differently, if we can learn from them. I think that's a healthy impulse. But if you're going to judge yourself, or when you judge yourself, be fair to yourself. And that goes for others as well. Take into consideration as much as you can the whole context. Remember that there were reasons you did what you did, even if it was just a lack of knowledge, lack of energy. We can remind ourselves there is a reason that I prioritize this, and so I'm going to continue addressing this for as long as I need to let go of the what ifs. That's one discipline. The other discipline is to keep the most important things, those things that line up with the most deeply, closely held values. Keep those things within arm's reach. Keep the list on the refrigerator, or whatever that looks like for you, and return to them as you are able to, so that you don't get to the end of your life regretting that you never made time for them. So that goes back to what I said earlier about how the fact that the most important things oftentimes can realistically wait, how that can be a challenge, because it's like we can just keep saying wait and wait, and oh, this thing is more urgent, this thing requires attention immediately. We can go through our lives like that. We can go through 99 or 100% of our lives like that, and feeling like we're treading water all the time, when there may have been opportunities to set aside time, say no to something that is good, that is somewhat important, that is urgent, but to say no to that so that we can give time and energy to the thing that is most important. And this is complex. It's not a dualistic black and white issue. It looks different from one person to the next. What is right for me isn't going to be right for you in your situation. And we don't like that. We like things that are yes, no, right, wrong, cut and dry. But that's honestly not life. And that's the hard way, but the fulfilling way of living our lives. So Sometimes we need to address the urgent thing. Other times we need to say no to the urgent thing, or the thing that seems urgent. We need to redefine what that urgency looks like and remember what is important, right? Maybe it's something that is urgent, but actually not that important. And we can let that thing uh, fizzle out or die sometimes in our life. We can essentially say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to let this thing go away and burn out and not give it attention. I'm going to basically drop it and let go of it and separate myself from it because, yes, it was good, it was important, but I'm finding that I can say no to that. By doing that, I make space for the thing that is the best, that is the most important, right? Like saying no to the good and embracing the best. Because we can also find ourselves in situations where we have so many good and significant and kind of important things in our lives that we get crowded by those things and we have no space for the things that are the dearest and most. Sometimes we need to say no to the urgent things so that we can make time for those important things that, yes, we could put on the back burner, but we don't want to. You don't want to. I don't want to put these things on the back burner forever. We want to keep the important things within arm's reach or in our sight so that we can return to them repeatedly. We can come back to them. We can ask, okay, literally, seriously, is this a time when I need to say no to some things? I need to make some space in my life so that I can address what's important. Sometimes we have to say no to the important. Sometimes we have to say no to the urgent in order to live the kind of life we can be happy about, proud of. So, yeah, that basically sums up my last note. That's all that I have for you today. And I hope that you find this concept helpful. And if you are interested in my work as a therapist, you can visit gfcounseling.com. That's for Growing Forward Counseling. gfcounseling.com. You can email me, Wes, W-E-S, at gfcounseling.com. You can call or text me at 586-576-6523. And if you're in Michigan, I can work with you on things related to life, growth, choices, times of transition, the kinds of things that I'm addressing in this video: trauma, grief, faith and spirituality, um, dealing with stress and anxiety. These are things that I address and help people with very frequently. And it can be difficult, it can be messy, but this is what I do, and I'd be happy to offer you professional support and walk alongside you with this. So thanks for watching this video. I encourage you to share it or save it or whatever you want to do to make good use of it. Hope you have a good day. Thank you.